Well, it's a beautiful October autumn morning here high atop Pilot Mountain, which is my video channel's namesake. Thanks for joining me. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on how to install a trailer hitch on a 2015 Buick Encore. If you've already watched part 1 of this video, you'll know that it covered the unboxing and some of the pitfalls that we'll encounter with this install. In this video, we'll actually be doing the work itself, so stick around and let's get after it. Starting here under the passenger side, I found something that was a game changer with regards to mounting this hitch. I decided to spread this brake line hold down clip apart to see how much motion I could gain once the brake line was loose. To my surprise, I was easily able to gently move the line enough to where the new spacer and mounting bolt head will clear. This means I won't have to use access holes further back on the rail. Let's pop the brake line loose on the driver's side, then attempt to mount the first spacer and bolt into its final position. There is only one bolt like this to mount on the driver's side, and the access hole is only 2 inches from the mounting hole. I'm feeding the pull wire behind the brake line and out through the mounting hole. Note that the spacer is fed into the hole first, then the carriage bolt upside down. Gingerly pull down on the brake line to make room for the carriage bolt head. When finished, don't forget to snap the brake line back in its clip. And voila, there we go. The pull wire should be left attached to the carriage bolt threads for now. Faced with an extended pull distance on the passenger side, I attached a safety line to the notched end of the spacer to perhaps try and pull it back out of the access hole should it get jammed. Now don't get the idea I was able to feed the pull wire through this access hole and have it exit the rear mounting hole on my first try. It actually took me about a minute. Still, not that bad. Grasp the tip of the wire and begin to pull. Although the video was blocked by my right hand, this process worked just like the other side, with the spacer being fed into the hole first, then the carriage bolt last. The Z-bend and the pull wire drags the spacer forward inside the rail ahead of the bolt. Again, the pull wire is left attached to the bolt threads for now. We then cut the safety line to get it out of the way. Relieved that I was successful mounting the most difficult of the bolts, we now installed the frontmost spacer and carriage bolt. This process is identical to the driver's side process performed earlier. The brake line is then snapped back in place. The reason for leaving the pull wires in place on the bolt threads will become apparent soon. I placed the 2x4 on my jack to distribute pressure as we slightly lift the muffler to take the weight off the hangers. Moving to the sink, the instructions for the next step call for this mixture in a spray bottle. Thoroughly soak the rubber hangers on both sides of the vehicle with soapy water. And note that I also lift the muffler so that the mixture can get into the tight spots. I highly recommend the use of this muffler hanger remover. I'll post a link to it, and next I'll show you how it works. Place the female end of the tool behind the rubber hanger and make sure the male end presses against the tip of the muffler brace protruding from the front. Use both hands and press the tool handle together. The tip of the muffler brace will be pressed backwards out of the muffler hanger. On the other side, I could not easily see the muffler brace, therefore it was easier to use the tool on the top mounting pin. No matter, the muffler hanger came off easily. Slowly lower the jack until there is clearance between the 2x4 and the muffler, then jack it back up till it touches and supports the muffler. Our trailer hitch is ready to install. I began sliding the right side hitch arms between the muffler tip and the gray plastic valence panel. You can see the mounting bolts pointed to here dangling in the distance. On the driver's side, the front of the hitch gets fed underneath the valence panel first. But Houston, we have a problem. Let me show you something. Note how in this unboxing sequence the hitch arms on the passenger side bend outward at 90 degrees, while on the other side the driver's front is bent inwards and the driver's rear is actually not bent at all. And that rear section I just pointed to is hitting my valence panel, so I broke out the jack to give me some clearance. And that's just what the doctor ordered. I continued to work the hitch back and forth to get it into position. During this process, I recommend a friend to assist you because the hitch is heavy at this angle. Eventually, I'm to the point where I can feed the pull wires down through the holes in the hitch along with the bolt threads. It is only when you can hold the hitch in place without movement that you would want to remove the pull wire from the bolt threads and install the washer and nut. Hopefully the reason is apparent, but if not, the pull wires keep the bolt from being pushed back up into the rail and lost while I'm thrashing about getting the hitch into position. The driver's side rear location uses a different sized bolt and washer and comes with a wedge spacer. This bolt goes into a hole in the rail pre-threaded from the factory. The wedge fits into the space between the vertical hitch arm and the rail. I have balanced the bolt on the hitch opening as I install the wedge spacer. Then I press the bolt through the hitch, then the spacer, and screw it into the factory threaded hole in the rail. I'm going to apply some red thread lock to all the bolt threads, but this was not the way to do it. Note that I stuck my finger into the access hole and held the top of the bolt to avoid it being pressed back up into the rail. I should not have totally removed the nut and washer to begin with. Thread lock is applied to the other bolt threads and the nuts temporarily tightened. Using my torque wrench, I dial it up to 68 foot-pounds, for the driver's side rear nut on the vertical arm. The nuts on the passenger side are torqued to 50 foot-pounds. Soapy water is reapplied to the muffler hangers. Shown here, our hanger is out of alignment due to our having previously lowered the muffler on the jack, so I stopped long enough to jack the muffler back up into place. Press on the rubber hanger until you hear and feel it click back into place. Repeat for the driver's side. The jack is lowered and removed. We've used this model of trailer hitch for several trips and couldn't be more pleased. It's very sturdy, and using the anti-wobble plate that came with our bike rack makes the connection even more secure. When the rack is removed, the hitch is almost invisible. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by to watch today's video, and I hope you learned something along the way, picked out some tips and tricks, and avoid some pitfalls. Moreover, I trust all your projects are successful. So from Pilot View Productions, this is Dean. Good morning, and thanks for joining my video. I'm high atop the little pinnacle here at Pilot Mountain, the mountain named the mountain for which my channel's namesake, the mountain. This morning is beautiful. Gotta refocus. Let's try that. This mountain is the namesake for my channel. This is part 2 of a 2-part series on how to install. Guys, I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch today's video, but I hope you learned some tips and tricks along the way and some pitfalls, which is the namesake of my video channel, the namesake of my YouTube channel. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by to watch part 2 of this video. Guys, I want to thank you for stopping by to watch the finale of this series. Welcome to Pilot Mountain. The mountain is from high atop Pilot Mountain in North Carolina. This is Pilot View Productions.